Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video, we're going to look at the question, what is dystheism? Now, philosophy of religion is often viewed as a binary between theists who believe in an all-good, all-powerful, all-knowing God, and atheists who doubt or deny one. However, views on religion are often much more nuanced. One such view is dystheism, the position that a particular God exists, but is either completely evil, or at least not wholly good. So, before delving into this position too much, it's important to note that this view, and some of the others that we'll contrast it with here, is somewhat colloquial and is not expounded much in the philosophical literature. That said, it's clearly a possible position that one could hold about a deity, and in fact, it seems that many religions have held such a position. So we're going to discuss it, but you may find it under different names, and you may not find dystheism perfectly as a name in all of the philosophical literature that might be discussing this. It might simply go unnamed more commonly. So, first off, dystheism is often contrasted with eutheism, the claim that a given God is all good. For polytheists, it's important to note that one might be a dystheist about one God, but a eutheist about another. Some traditional African religions hold a position like this, claiming an overarching creator God is all good, but that intermediary lesser gods are often tricksters, only sometimes good, or completely evil. Dystheism is simply a rejection of the claim that a given God is all good, not necessarily the opposite claim that such a God is completely evil, a position sometimes called maltheism. Dystheists might think that a God is neutral, acting neither for good or evil, a trickster not actively attempting to do evil, just be precocious, or a dystheist might be an anti-realist about morality, claiming that a God cannot be all good because good and evil are not real properties of the world, and that we can say true and false things about. That said, a dystheist could also be a maltheist. All maltheists are dystheists, but not all dystheists are maltheists. Now, there are a range of reasons one might be a dystheist. Most commonly, it's a component of a given religion that certain deities are evil or morally ambiguous at best. Philosophically, one might come to hold this conclusion for a range of different reasons. It is a solution to the problem of evil. Denying God's goodness is a simple way to get out of the problem of evil and ends you up with an existing God, but one that's not all good. It might arise from a belief that a religious text is true, but that the acts done by a god in it, genocide, slavery, rape, etc., are morally evil, so such a god could not be good, even if you still believe in it. Or it might come from accepting one of the classical arguments for the existence of God, but not others. Someone might accept the cosmological argument that there must be a necessary prime mover, but deny the ontological argument that such a being must be good, or accept parts of the ontological argument, but deny that goodness is a great-making property, for example. So if you end up with some of these kind of classical arguments for the existence of God, but not all of them, you may end up in a position of dystheism, where you're claiming that, yes, you think a God exists, but you don't think that that God is all good. Now, objections to dystheism often take the form of traditional arguments for theism, though few arguments for the existence of God actually make a strong case for him being all good. The cosmological argument does not provide any real support for any properties of a prime mover beyond its necessity. And the teleological argument might actually make a stronger case for the dystheist than the eutheist, given the flaws in human design. A neutral or trickster god might actually be a better explanation. Of the three main arguments for God, it's really only the ontological argument that attempts to provide real support for the claim that God is all good. Check out our series on the ontological arguments to learn more about this argument. The dystheist will, of course, also get objections from the side of the atheist, simply claiming that a God does not exist, period, cutting away at the foundations of theistic arguments, but these are going to be the same arguments that are offered against the theist, because the atheist is doubting the existence of any God, good or not. What do you think? Does an evil, trickster, or neutral God make more sense than an all-good God? Or are all of them equally nonsensical? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org. If you like this content and you want to see more, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Watch this video and more at Carneades.org and stay skeptical.